Hey everyone, hope y'all doing what I'm doing. Watching the college football playoffs right now. Right now it's halftime and the score is tied at 14. So, still anybody's game. I could wear either one of these. You'll just have to wait. If you really didn't pay attention to the college football playoffs, you'll see which one of these shirts I wore right in about a few minutes. But for right now, I'm doing this scene because my cousin Belondo Washington, who lives in Georgia, in Forest Hills, Georgia to be exact, had mailed 10 books to me, and they're all old. Now, I'm not going to give a brief description of these books, but I'm going to let you know what they are. Alright, first up is Batman the Outsiders number 7. Batman the Outsiders number 6. Batman the Outsiders number 5. Batman the Outsiders number 4. Batman the Outsiders number 3. Batman the Outsiders number 2. Superman number 42. Skateman number 1. The Return of Dr. Fate number 1. And finally, New Mutants number 47. Alright, now it's 10 that my cousin mailed to me, which brings the total number of comics that I have since December of 1997 to 7,119. Alright, second half just begun. I'm going to go ahead and end this right now because I'm really looking forward to who wins this game, because whoever wins, I get to wear one of these shirts. Alright, so let's start the show. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I want to congratulate the Alabama Crimson Tide on defeating the Clemson Tigers last night at the score of 45-40 and winning the 2016 National Championship. So roll Tide. Alright, I have some good news and some bad news in reference to the show. The bad news is, this is my last episode of the show that I'm doing in Northwest Louisiana for a while. You know, it's been a great few months. I think it's been about 2.5 months, almost 3 months. The only reason that I'm doing them out here is, you know, due to the death of Clint Thomas, because after his passing, there were no books that could get ordered, and his account with the company that he gets his books from automatically got terminated because he died. And so I've been doing episodes out here and at formerly Crew of Tees, now BC Comics rather, in Bossier City. But never say never. I could come back here. I can come back here. I can go back to BC Comics. But I want to thank for the outcry of support from all the folks here in the Shreveport, Bossier metropolitan area. I thank y'all so much. That's the bad news. The good news is, Monroe, I'm coming home. I'm going to be doing in episode 98, which is the episode right after this. I will be doing episodes of the Comic Hero Show back at Clint's Comics, and you know it's good to be back, you know, because we have a new owner. And if you watched the Comic Hero Special Report, you would have known the name of the owner. Her name is Claire Chandler, and she has a lot of awesome things planned for the store, and I cannot wait to get back. Besides, I miss doing episodes there. I mean, doing episodes here and at BC Comics were fun, but it's just something magical about doing it at Clint's Comics. And I just can't wait to come back. All right. It's time to give away a free prize pack. Now, the question I asked in last week's episode is, what year did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles make their debut? The answer is the year 1984. They were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. The former is the current writer of the current series that's going on in IDW. And so before anyone tries to talk you down and tell you that they made their debut on a small screen, they are wrong. They made their debut in comics first, 3 years before they hit the small screen in 1987. So that's it. And 5 people have answered correctly, and they've automatically entered their names in a drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and draw their names right now. And the winner of the Comic Hero Prize Pack for the week is Molly Yorks from Monroe, Louisiana. So congratulations, Molly. You win a free Comic Hero Prize Pack. And in that prize pack is your own Comic Hero tee and a book. Alright. So, here's the question for this week. What branch of the U.S. military did the Hal Jordan Green Lantern serve? Now, if you watched the Green Lantern movie, you should know that. Or if you even read Green Lantern, if you've been reading Green Lantern for a very long time, you should know that. And I will reveal the answer in next week's episode. And if you answer correctly, you'll be entered in a drawing for a free Comic Hero Prize Pack. All right. Now, my good friend and fellow classmate of the class of 2000 at Homer High School, Courtney Emerson, has requested a DC versus Marvel, and as Jim Ross would say, it's a real slobber knocker. On the DC side, we have Solomon Grundy. On the Marvel side, we have The Thing. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call DC versus Marvel. Hulk smash! Welcome to DC versus Marvel. Today, it's Solomon Grundy versus The Thing. Solomon Grundy possesses superhuman strength and stamina, healing factor, near invulnerability, virtual indestructibility, and immortality. The Thing is a skilled street fighter and hand-to-hand combatant. He possesses superhuman strength, stamina, and durability, rock-like skin, excellent dexterity, above-average reflexes, and enhanced lung capacity. Who will win? One thing's for sure, there'd be a lot of punches being thrown in this one. Solomon Grundy would back off and let The Thing punch him as much as he wants. The Thing gets exhausted, and Grundy ends it by punching a hole right through the ever-loving blue light guardian of the galaxy. Solomon Grundy wins, and that concludes this DC versus Marvel fight. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the DC versus Marvel segment, and when you are a zombie and you are practically immortal like Solomon Grundy is, of course you're going to win. Alright, if you have any DC versus Marvel fights that you want me to do, and if you have any questions for the Any Questions segment, contact info is right down there. Alright, now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, the first thing I want to talk about is congratulations to Supergirl for winning the People's Choice Most Outstanding New TV Drama. I watched a few episodes of it. I thought it was pretty good. And but there's some folks who are a little upset, and mainly for the main reason is because they casted Mehcad Brooks as James Olsen. Now keep in mind, James Olsen was Superman's pal in the comics, and James Olsen is a white man. Now in the Now, on the show Supergirl, James Olsen is a black man. But come on, folks. Stop. There is absolutely nothing wrong with diversity in anything, much less a TV show. There's nothing wrong with that. So you just need to you just need to get out of your feelings and just come to the conclusion that it works, and it really does. And one other thing that I think works about the series is that Hank Henshaw. Now, when I thought of the name Hank Henshaw, the first thing that came to mind was the Cyborg Superman, because we all know that that's who the Cyborg Superman was in the previous DC universe. In this new 52 universe, by the way, the Cyborg Superman is Zor-El, which happens to be Supergirl's father. But Hank Henshaw is not really. But this is a different one. He's actually a Martian Manhunter, aka J'onn J'onzz, and it works. I think that works too. But kudos to the cast, crew, and staff of Supergirl for earning the People's Choice Award for Outstanding New TV Drama. And I just know that the best is yet to come. All right, next thing I want to talk about is that either this season or next season on Gotham, they're thinking about bringing Batgirl or Barbara Gordon on the scene. This is why this is a bad idea. Batgirl is about 15 to 20 years younger than Bruce Wayne. So, you know, in this series, Bruce Wayne is still like a 9, 10, 11-year-old kid. And they're trying to bring in Barbara Gordon, who in the comics is much younger, and trying to make her look older. And then, no, that does not work. I mean, Warner Brothers, what are you thinking? I mean, at this point, Barbara Gordon shouldn't even be born. Or if she is born, she should probably just be an infant. Or a toddler at best. I don't approve of that. And me personally, I've never really watched an episode of Gotham. I mean, I recorded the first episode, but I never got around to watch. But I just think that's a bad idea. Why in the world would you want to make Barbara Gordon older than Bruce Wayne? I seriously don't think that would work. I wouldn't recommend that at all. But I just, you know, I'm quite sure there's a reason that the writers and the producers want to do that. I mean, you're doing some very interesting stuff in some of these TV shows. Well, yeah, Warner Brothers is with DC. Now with Marvel pretty much goes by the comics, as opposed to DC and Warner Brothers. They try to modernize stuff way too much. Although the whole thing with making James Olsen a black guy on Supergirl, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that. And some of the other things they do, I think the best two TV shows that DC, you know, that DC and Warner Bros. Have right now are Supergirl and The Flash. And then Legends of Tomorrow is going to be premiering on the CW as well, and I just hope that that does well. But with Gotham, I don't know. It's kind of a thinking man's show. But anyway. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Captain America Sam Wilson #4. Now, I'm a little behind on this one, but what I can tell you is that I read the first 2 issues, And this Captain America is a little different from the Steve Rogers Captain America, and I don't just mean that in terms of his ethnicity, but also the way his certain political stance that he made. Because one thing about Captain America, he tried, even though he was, one thing about Steve Rogers though, was when he was Captain America, he tried to stay out of politics. I mean, he never really, he just felt like, he's a soldier, and he should just, do the right thing and not get into politics. But Sam Wilson, on the other hand, has got into politics, and everyone wants him to give up the mantle. All right, next up is Aquaman number 47. Now, in this book, Aquaman has found a colony of people who were former Atlanteans, and he wanted to bring them back to Atlantis. But then Mera had said, no, we can't do that. We can't do it. They're outcasts for a reason. We found out that Mera really isn't Mera. It's actually her twin sister, Siren. And Aquaman finds out about that. He tries to convince everyone in Atlantis about that, but they weren't. But at that point, Mera had already pretty much, Siren rather, had pretty much brainwashed everyone on Atlantis and told them that, and led them to believe that Aquaman is a fugitive of Atlantis. And I mean, it's a crazy good book, and Wonder Woman has also gotten involved in this book as well, and I just can't wait to read this issue. All right, up next is Spider-Gwen number 4. Now, in the first 3 issues, we find out that, now this is a kind of a what-if book. It pretty much stems from the Spider Island, Spider-Verse miniseries that happened story arc that happened in the Amazing Spider-Man, where just about every Spider-Man from every Marvel universe that you could think of team up to stop Moreland and the Inheritors. And in this one, it's kind of a what-if book, and I say that because in this one, we find out what happens when Gwen Stacy gets bitten by the radioactive spider instead of Peter Parker. And, Peter Parker dies, but he dies a different way. He dies after being infected by the lizard and becoming half man, half lizard. And he dies from poisoning from it. And then along the way, Spider-Gwen starts to gain she reveals her identity to her father, Captain George Stacy, and it's a very great book. I mean, she's even befriended Spider-Woman, aka Jessica Drew, and as well as some other ones. And another book to read that has Spider-Gwen in it is Web Warriors. That's also a great one. All right, next up is Action Comics number 48. Now, this is the start of the Savage Dawn story arc, which I haven't exactly delved into yet. But in this one, Superman goes up against Vandal Savage and some folks from timelines where Vandal, because Vandal Savage is an immortal character who hardly ever ages, and has gone throughout history to gather up some folks to take down Superman, and it all starts here. Next up is Batman and Robin Eternal number 14. Now, I got caught up with this book, folks, and the associates of Batman were split in 2. You had Dick Grayson, Cassandra Cain, and Bluebird, aka Harper Row, travel to Prague to track down Mother. And then you also had Red Robin and the Red Hood go to the island of Santa Prisca. And there were a lot of things that have happened, but mainly Dick Grayson finds out the real truth behind how he became Robin, and how Batman thought he was ready, but Mother didn't. And then we also find out that Cassandra Cain, that the reason she doesn't talk is because her father raised her not to use her words, but to use her actions to become a killing machine. But then when she realized that, if she realizes this, she uses her abilities for good. Man, wish I could I wish I could take an eternal vow of silence and become a killing. Well, I don't think I want to become a killing machine, but I would love to fight. All right. Next up is Detective Comics number 48. Now, what's been good? Now, this book is basically James Gordon as the current Batman, but it also mainly centers around the Gotham City Police Department, and I'm talking about guys like Detective Harvey Bullock and Detective Renee Montoya, and I mean it's pretty much the Batman strike force, and it's a great book, and in number 46 James Gordon rather teams up with the Justice League, and he goes on his first ever Justice League mission with them, and it results in they end up encountering this creature who could manipulate water and use it as a weapon. But we find out that the creature really isn't bad. He's just a small child who with nowhere to go, and he's scared, so that's why he kills people. But then Gordon ends up singing a lullaby, and he ends up falling asleep at the very end of number 46. Number 47 is the We Are Robin story arc, and I've yet to delve into that. Charging my head, not to my heart, folks. I'm sorry. All right, next up is Green Lantern number 48. Now, in the last issue, he goes home to Earth, to Coast City, California, where he's from, and he goes to check on his brother. Now, the reason he does that is because another one of the Green Lanterns, Simon Baz, was actually taxed to watch over Hal Jordan's family. But unfortunately, all the Green Lanterns have ended up all disappearing. And Hal Jordan, he didn't disappear because he didn't have a Green Lantern ring. He actually used Kronos' old gauntlet. And he goes to Earth, and he spends time with his family. But then next thing you know, some kind of freak accident happens over at the amusement park that they go to, and Jordan tries to save everyone, but there was one person he could not save, and that was his nephew, who dies. And this issue, he goes up against the James Gordon Batman. Uh-oh. All right, up next is Spider-Man Deadpool number 1. This is a new series that Marvel just released, and it's a team-up book. I mean, come on. Superman and Batman have their own book, so why can't Spider-Man and Deadpool? Now, these are two different opposites. You have Spider-Man, who is the world's greatest superhero. He does not kill. And then you have Deadpool, who is a mercenary with a mouth, who talks jive and takes lives. These two, to me, have always been this is like the new odd couple in comics, and I cannot wait to read this book. All right, up next is Amazing Spider-Man number 6. Now, what's been going on in this book is Peter Parker is now over Parker Industries, and he's really trying to make a world a better place. And in doing so, he's encountered like old villains and new villains. He pissed off Johnny Storm because the Baxter Building is now the new headquarters of Parker Industries, a new corporate office of Parker Industries. But then he finds out that there's a statue of the Fantastic Four in the lobby, and then Johnny Storm goes mea culpa, and a lot of things. And we also see the imminent return of the Green Goblin. Uh-oh. Oh, and also Mr. Negative is also going to be in this book. Next up is Invincible Iron Man number 5. And what we see in this one is that Madame Mask, Iron Man finds out that Madame Mask, whose real name is Whitney Frost, ends up gaining brand new powers. So she just doesn't wear a mask and goes around and shoots people. She has powers. And he also finds out that Doctor Doom has turned good, although he's having a hard time believing it. And in this one, we find out whether Doctor Doom is really good or not. And then also we see Mary Jane Watson, who ends up moving all the way out to California because she got sick and tired. Well, because every time she opened a club in New York, it gets destroyed by some bad guys, and she's just fed up with it, so she moves out to California. But how do you? But this is the Marvel Universe. How do you? Nothing like that stays unscathed. All right, next up is A-Force #1. Now this is a new series, and the reason why this book is a series is because there's been so much a positive outcry of having this book made into made into a monthly series by Marvel after it was a 5-issue miniseries during the Secret Wars. And I think this book is going to be great. Now this book features nothing but female Avengers. I mean, you have She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Medusa, Dazzler, just to name a few. And I think Rogue is also going to be in this book. But I can't wait to read this because A-Force was crazy good. And they're going to have the same writer and artist, G. Willow Wilson and Jorge Molina. All right, next up is Deadpool #5. Now, in the previous issues, you know, the way the series starts out, Deadpool starts recruiting former bad guys and washed up superheroes and forms his own Deadpool agency. So they pretty much all wear Deadpool masks and they go save them. But then we find out that someone had ended up killing one of Deadpool's good friends. And there was speculation that one of their very own had done it. And Deadpool is out to get them. Alright. Next up is the Totally Awesome Hulk #1. Now, in the first issue, we find out that Amadeus Cho is the new Hulk. However, he is a very irresponsible... Now, the book is called The Totally Awesome Hulk, but it should also be called The Totally Awesome Irresponsible Hulk. Because he's very irresponsible. I mean, he doesn't... I mean, he's in full control of himself, unlike Banner at times. And as to how he ended up getting a gamma ray... Now, I think the reason that Amadeus chose the Hulk and Bruce Banner is because while on a mission, the Bruce Banner Hulk ended up... there was some radiation had started flooding out, and I guess Banner thought that the only way to save everyone was to absorb all the radiation. Well, it so happens he absorbed way too much. And I think that's one of the reasons how... Now, how did Amadeus Cho siphon he transferred all the gamma radiation from Banner? I guess we'll find out in issues to come, this book included. And then finally, Nova #3. Now, on a mission somewhere, we find out that Nova... Oh, by the way, there are two Novas in this book. It's Sam Alexander and his father, Jesse Alexander. And they end up going up against some guy, and Nova... Oh, the elder Nova, Jesse Alexander, gets punched real hard. And his face, like I don't know, like it was like moved somewhere else. And he's like, "Who are you?" Sam was like, "Who are you? You're not my father." And that's how it ends. Alright, that's 14 I bought, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 7,133. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and you know, this is very bittersweet because this is the last episode of the Comic Hero Show that I'm doing in Northwest Louisiana for a while. I'm going to be heading back to Northeast Louisiana. I mean, it's been a great almost 3 months. You know, I'm not going to be sad at all, and I hope you're not, because who knows? I may come back and do an episode either here or at BC Comics in Bossier City. Wow. But I'm very humbled to do this show. I'm very humbled, you know, for all the people who watch. You know, I'm getting a little mushy here. I'm trying not to, But I just want to thank y'all. I mean, I'm going to clap for y'all right now. Y'all are the real awesome people. I mean, I have people, I have folks all around saying, man, you are awesome. It's just such a great show. And you know that's all well and everything, but it's because of fans like y'all that this show does well. And again, congratulations to the Alabama Crimson Tide on becoming the 2016 National College Football Champions. Roll Tide. And yeah. Oh, and by the way, all right, now here's the question again for the week. What branch of the U.S. military did Hal Jordan serve? Now keep in mind, Hal Jordan is a Green Lantern. What branch of the U.S. military did he serve? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a free drawing for a... Well, yeah, the drawing's free. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free Comic Hero prize pack. And for those of y'all who are interested in buying t-shirts, I've decided to lower the prices to them. The price for adult t-shirts is $10, and for children it's $5. And yeah. Oh, and one other thing. Questions for the Any Questions segment, DC versus Marvel Quest, or if you want to even submit a topic for the Comically Speaking segment, or an idea for the upcoming 100th episode of the Comic Hero Show, contact info is down there. Alright, I'm Victor Nunley, I'm the Comic Hero. We'll see you next time for episode 98. Back at Clint's Comics. I'm coming home, Monroe. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and roll Tide! Now, right after I left Excalibur Comics, I went over to Second and Charles in Bossier City because there were some books that I knew that I had a few holes in, and either holes or I couldn't find them when I was over at Excalibur, and I found two of them, and here they are. All right, up first is Star Wars number 14. Now, this is part of the Vader Down story arc crossover, well, the crossover event with Darth Vader, and along the way, the Rebel Alliance have come up on evil doppelgangers of R2-D2 and C-3PO. And in this one, obviously, Chewbacca fights an evil doppelganger of himself. And then We Are Robin number 7. This is part 4 of the Robin War story arc that first started in Robin War number 1. And it's going to end in Robin War number 2, which comes out later this week. And I can't wait to read it. Alright, that's 2 more I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,135. See you next time for episode 98. Bye.